Oh, I know I said the next time I do a get ready with me I was going to use something other than Project Pan stuff. Well, evidently I lied. I'm just getting stuff ready for filming later on today. I've actually got a nice... I know I probably mentioned this in every video about getting into nice routines, but we have. Every Wednesday, Luna goes to a play centre, and then the weekends Nick takes her to the park. So that gives me time to do whatever I want to do, just solely devote time to focus on things. And well, today is Sunday, so that is one of those days. So I'm gonna go in with my usual setting shadow, set the primer potion. So how have you all been? I hope you've had an amazing week. I have had a great productive week. If you've seen my reboot skincare ramble, I will link it in the info box if you haven't. I've mostly been spending a good deal of time working on a project, but I've also been doing a lot on Twitter, like reaching out to brands, and I've got a couple of sponsored things coming up, and I've also done a little bit of shopping. I've got a show and tell coming up. It's my first show and tell of the year, I believe. So I am going to go in with Kid, and then I'm going to go in with a little bit of Cork. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do today, but I know I want it to be warm, so first we're going in with Kid, and then I'll go in with Cork. But yeah, I did my mask with me earlier last week, I believe, and tested out some products from Nivea, and there was also a sale on Fragrance Direct, and well, I talked about masking on Twitter, and Derma V10 told me about their products, and they're on Fragrance Direct. So I went out and purchased their product. So that should be interesting. I reached out to their parent company and asked if they want to do a collaboration, like maybe like sponsor a giveaway or something, and depending on whether I like the products, because if they're good products then great, because they're really cheap. But I'll be doing a mask with me using those. They're the Derma V masks. They're basically like the L'Oreal ones, but silly cheap. So I'm gonna go in with Cork. What else? And I also picked up a few of their sheet masks, and I got some skincare as well from Fragrance Direct. I tried out this brand called La Ocean, and it's supposed to be it's like a caviar extract skincare range, like very minimal caviar extract, I'll give you that, but just something different, something to try. Start broadening my horizons. I've also had a company reach out to me and offer to send me some under eye masks, so I'm really super excited to try those. I think they want a review on them, but I'm gonna ask them and see what they think of me doing a mask with me with them, because I'm really liking these mask with me things. They're fun and relaxing, and you guys seem to enjoy them. You guys just seem to be enjoying all the casualness, the throwbackness, the I'm not trying to be a beauty guru-ness. honestly, when I think of what I was trying to do with my videos. This is not the channel for that kind of content. I uploaded a video that was on the basic makeup channel. Yeah, that was I got a thumbs down on that video so far. It's the first thumbs down I've had in ages, so I'm guessing it was not well received. I'm just going in with some fuller fudge from Clinique. Do I want to put this all over my lid? I think I will. Put this all over. Yeah. This is gonna be a dark look. I haven't done a dark look in a while. So I'm gonna go in with a kind of redishy brown shade. This shade here. And these eyeshadows are so dusty sometimes. Shaking off the excess of that, and I'm going to put it over the fuller fudge. This shadow actually kind of reminds me of like Shimmering Sienna from Revlon. Oh, I miss those eyeshadows. I miss a lot of things that companies used to do. Some of it is coming back in ways, other bits aren't. Like foundation sticks and stuff. They used to be all the rage in like the late 90s, early 2000s. If you remember when, who was it? Sarah Michelle Gellar was the face of Maybelline. And they did those minute sticks, I think they were called. When all you got is a New York minute, or something like that. I remember when I was like starting to get into foundation and stuff, they were like one of the most expensive foundations at the drugstore, or at Boots, whatever you want to call it. I actually remember my first foundation. It was Stay Matte from Rimmel, and it was a weird mousse texture. I'm gonna go in with this sort of yellowy colour here. And pop that in here. I remember I got it when I was in first year at secondary school because I wanted to look pretty for the Christmas disco. Just for the guy I was going with to break up with me the day before the disco. That was a moment. He didn't even break up with me, he got his friend to do it. It was weird. As soon as it was one of those situations where it was okay as long as it was just us that knew about it, but as soon as everybody else found out about it, I was suddenly not good enough to be with. This video suddenly took a little dark turn there. Sorry. But while we're on the subject of boys, I briefly mentioned in one of my videos about how Nick and I met, and it was a from the get-go we liked each other kind of thing. So yeah, I'm gonna share that with you today. I'm just gonna take some of that shimmery orangey stuff that I like and run that over the top. I met Nick the first day of college, 2007. I believe it was August 24th, possibly. I have it written in my diary because I used to keep a diary, and I talked about this amazing guy that I met. I actually saw him before I met him. We were sitting in the cafe in the college, and I just saw this guy come storming past. He had long hair and he had a t-shirt on that said "You bastard." And he had a face like thunder, this guy. And I was like, oh my god, he looks so pissed off, and nobody else at the table saw him. So, made me feel a bit stupid. I'm just going back in with a little bit more kid. And then my friend Amy and I decided we'd go shopping for a bit. Just touching up the highlight. And as we come out of the college, we bump into a friend from another part of the course, and this guy approaches us who's selling these cards that get you into clubs for free. Like if you go before midnight, you'll get into these clubs for free. And the cards are like £5. And oh my god, this guy's drunk. It's like 3 in the afternoon and this guy is wasted. And he starts chatting us all up, and he offers my friend Amy a job selling the cards. So he's trying to get hold of his boss, and his boss says he'll meet us at this pub further in the city centre. So we go with him, and we stop outside the Bonaccord Centre, which is one of the main shopping centres in Aberdeen. I'm just going to go in with some Clarins Beauty Flash Balm. And he says that he has to meet his friend first. And there he is. This face of thunder, long-haired man. Who, I thought he was like maybe a couple of years older than me. Like maybe 19, 20, 21. And he's holding this bag from Toymaster with the Blues Brothers car in it, because he collects toy models. He collects 1 to 18ths. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And so we're talking to him while his friend Mike is on the phone to his boss again. And then we all sort of follow him to this pub. It was called the Wild Boar, and they offer us a drink, and my friend Amy instantly has, whatever alcoholic thing it was she wanted. Bearing in mind that at the time she was only 17. So I'm going in with the Master Touch Concealer from Max Factor. So she and Mike have alcoholic drinks, and this guy and I have Diet Coke, he has a regular Coke, because he doesn't drink. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I can't remember the specific details of what happens, but he leaves me and Amy leaves. Or what was it? Some way along the line I got left alone with Mike, and he basically turned around and said that he wasn't interested in me and he was only interested in my friend. And I took down the chin. I'm used to that kind of shit. I've never really, at that point, I only ever had like maybe 2 guys genuinely interested in me like that. And I was like, oh, it's fine. So he and Amy disappeared to go talk to his boss, and it's just me and Nick. And I'm like, we're waiting for Amy to come back, and I say to him, oh, I can just give you Amy's number, because I figure they're both into Amy. And then he tells me he'd rather have mine. Oh, so floored. So I give this guy my number, and then I can't remember what happens after that, but I make my excuses and say that I have to go home. And because my mom was really kind of controlling, which is stupid when I think about it, because at the time I was 18, you know. But she wanted me home straight away after college. If I wasn't home by like 4:30 after college, she was calling me to find out where I was. I was like, I'm an adult. I can do what I want. I know she's just being like your mother kind of thing, but she took it way too far. So Revlon Colorstay. Next thing I know, they all show up at the bus stop I'm at, and we're just awkwardly talking, and he's just awkwardly looking at me. And I got home, and later that night he texts me and says that Mike's still trying to flog these cards, and I don't reply. Cause I'm like, oh, if I just ignore him, he'll go away. I'm not really. I didn't know how to deal with the situation, so I just thought if I ignore him, he'll go. And then I don't have to deal with it. I mean, I liked him. I thought he was very attractive. I don't know. I'm just not used to. I was just not used to men genuinely being interested in me. I'm used to people taking the piss. So yeah. And then the next day I'm in college and I get another text from him asking if I want to go out. And then so we arranged to go see a movie and go for a drink. And I get there and Amy's there with Mike. And yeah, I didn't expect her to be there. She never texted me to say she was going to be there. But we went for a drink beforehand, and then we went to see 1408. And it was kind of weird. Like, halfway through the film and stuff, he started like holding my hand and everything. And Amy and Mike were like chatting and giggling, and further along the row, this guy and his girl just turned around and say, "Oh my god, you all just effing shut up." And like turns around and yells at them, "Who are you to tell us to shut up? You're not even watching the movie." Like totally took the guy down. And I was just floored. I'd never been around someone that confident before. Like he borderline on arrogant, but I've never been around someone that confident before. Most people I knew would just, you know, like cower and take the hit. And he took them out. And then after that we Mike invites Amy back. Well, they both invite us back to their place. And I didn't want to go because, you know, good girls don't do anything on the first date, and at the time I was like a virgin, so well, not like a virgin, I was a virgin. So Amy's willing to go, and I don't want her going along with strangers. I don't want her going home alone to a strange man's house. It's something I've always been taught. You never let yourself be alone with strange men, unless it's in a public place. I just spritzed myself with some Botanics rose toner, and I'm gonna go in with another layer of Colorstay. So I go back with them. They go past the college, and Nick has to stop and pick up Mike's bike and cycles it home, and we all get the bus together. It's at this point I find out my friend Amy is a racist, and it's the most awkward moment ever. She's like, we're in this part of the bus where we're like two chairs facing each other. She sits next to this guy and just goes, "He's coloured." And I'm just like, oh my fucking god. What? It's like, ugh. There are still people like that here in Aberdeen though. they don't use the word black or Asian or something. You're all just colored people to them. Just to give you a heads up. It's really awkward when you're like out in a restaurant or something with someone's parents and they talk about the coloured family the next table over or something. I'm like, you can't say stuff like that anymore. It's not okay. It's never okay, and it's really not okay now. But they do it anyway. So yeah, that was interesting. I didn't see that coming. So we get up to their place, and it turns out that Nick wanted to cycle home so he could clean the flat before we got there. And I was like, oh, that is really sweet. And so they offer us drinks and stuff, and Mike pulls out a trump card that's even his trump card. He goes, oh, Nick, tell them who you're related to. What's your claim to fame? Turns out his mother is Phil Lynot's cousin. Do you know who Phil Lynott is, or indeed was? He was the lead singer of Thin Lizzy, and he is Nick's mother's cousin, which means my children are now technically related to Phil Lynott. How epic is that? So, hey, I didn't even mix any illuminator in. I totally forgot. Oh well, we'll just go with that. And where's my powder? So everything's going good, and it starts getting late, like 10 o'clock, and I'm like, well, I really need to get going, or I'm not going to be able to get home. You know, I need to get the last bus home. I'm not walking all the way home because where I lived was not exactly safe to be walking home. So I tried to get Amy to come with me, and she won't. She decides she wants to stay with Mike. So Nick walks me into town, and the whole time I keep getting phone calls from my mum wanting to know where I am, who I'm with. So I'm just going to send out my brother to come get me. Oh god, I didn't mention how old this guy was. I didn't mention how old Nick was. Nick was 25. I was 18. And my brother is 3 years older than me, so at the time he would have been 21, I want to say. Yeah, he would have been 21. And yeah, my brother did not like the idea of me dating a 25-year-old. Not that he's a nurturing older brother, he's an absolute asshole, but he likes to act the big man sometimes. So I'm just starting with the Laura Mercier powder. I actually really like this stuff. I understand now why it's like a favourite of many. So yeah, he walks me into town, and I get the bus home, and the next day I'm at work, and at the time I worked in a children's play area, and I was on the play floor with my phone, which I shouldn't have been. Bad me. Everybody else didn't go away with it, why couldn't I? So I was sitting on top of what we called the free fall. It was one of those great big slides, you know, like the vertical ones where you kind of have to keep your hands up, otherwise you'll end up with the worst friction burn of your life. And I get a text from him asking if I'm at work and when I finish, and he meets me after work and we go for a walk and just talk for like hours, and we stop and share a pot of tea and a cheeseburger. It starts raining, he gives me his hoodie to wear. You know, it's just proper, it's like so romantic and sweet. And then we go to the bus stop so I can wait for my bus, and he kisses me, and it's my first kiss. And this is probably TMI, but he tried to slip his tongue in my mouth, and I totally fucking freaked out because I'm like, oh my god, what do I do? What the fuck do I do? Oh my god. Luckily at that moment, that's when the bus came. So I got on the bus, and the rest, as they say, is history. we started seeing each other a couple of times a week, and then it became almost daily, and then I'm going to use the NYX bronzer today, the NYX matte bronzer. See how it performs. And then in November, I believe, or October of 2008, I moved into their flat. My brother started seeing, well, he'd moved a girl in from, they'd met on Xbox, and she was pregnant with another man's baby, and social services got involved, and they needed my room because it was bigger so they could have the crib. So we swapped rooms, and I ended up in a room about the size of this bathroom with all my stuff, which was fine and everything, but life at home got really stressful. Mum kept was still trying to interfere. Like, when Nick and I first started dating, if I wasn't home at a certain time, she'd call and be like, oh my god, where are you? You're not doing this, you're not doing that. The first time I stayed over, she's like, you're not staying over at his house. Like, yeah, I am. I so totally am. I had to lie and say that, oh, his flatmate's gone home to his parents, so I'm sleeping in his room, to stop her sending my dad over to come get me. Like, my mum was like proper Stone Age, Neanderthal parenting. It's like, I'm an adult, I can do what I want. We're not living in the 70s here. And it wasn't like anything happened. This is, let's just turn this into a when I lost my virginity story. That would be, when was it? It was like the week before Halloween in 2007. Yeah, the week before Halloween. Nick and I have been dating for, well, we've been together for like 3 months, August, September, October, like 2.5 months, almost 3 months. So we had sex. It didn't hurt. It didn't bleed. It was alright. It hurt the next day, but I'm guessing that's normal, right? And yeah. We exchanged the I love yous in December. I remember he wasn't well, and I was taking care of him. I'd finished work, and we were on his sofa watching Buffy, and he woke up from a nap and said that he loved me and called me dear. So I'm going to go under the eye with a bit more of that purpley brown shade. And in case you haven't done the math, we have been together for what will be 11 years in August. So yeah, I used to get a lot of shit for our relationship because he was so much older than me. He's 7 years older than me. But I don't see a problem. I'm just gonna blend this out with a bit of Kid. I've never seen a problem with it. I mean, it's not like he's 17 years older than me. That would be an issue. You know, we've had our ups and downs, like most relationships. And we've got 2 beautiful kids together, and we've got a nice, happy family environment going. And yeah. And I'm just gonna pop a little bit of shimmer in the inner corners there. But a lot of people are like, oh, you should be young, free and single, play the field, do this, do that. And a lot of the people who did that, they're still they're either in relationships that they don't want to be in, or they're still single. So you can play the field all you want, but it's not gonna, I don't know where I'm going with this. Like, you can play the field all you want. Doesn't mean you'll be any happier for it. I was lucky and met the right guy at the right time. For blush, I'm going to be using Alluring Rose from Max Factor. Wow, that kicks up a lot of dust. Looks pretty though. I still get a lot of crap for our relationship. Like, a lot of people think it's sweet that I've only been with one guy and stuff. But you don't have to. I'm gonna sound like a silver ring advocate. You don't have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince. You don't have to have sex with every guy you date. You don't have to have sex with every guy you meet. Just because a guy buys a drink doesn't mean he's bought an invite into your pants. You know, I think it's become like, when I was a teenager, it becomes so normalized to sleep around, have one night stands, that it was almost like girls I knew felt, although it was expected, that it was what they were meant to do, and it's not. Although now girls these days have gone the complete opposite direction, and now they like don't even let guys kiss them until like the 10th date. It's interesting. It's very interesting. The dynamics has switched up. But yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, like, in today's like dating climate, how everyone's like very conscious of mansplaining and catcalling and all that shit, and shutting down male advances on the street. Kind of makes you wonder, if this had happened today, would I still have gone into this relationship if I had been conditioned a different way? I don't know. Totally going off on a tangent. But you see it all the time on Twitter, like, girls totally going off wreck. But girls totally overreacting to guys complimenting them or guys hitting on them. It's like, just because you don't find the guy attractive doesn't instantly make it harassment, I guess. Like, trying to make out any guy asking for your number is instantly harassing you. This is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. Just going to use a tiny little bit of it. Like, I've gotten into some awkward situations with guys asking for my number before. One of them was at work. We had these two old ladies that were really regular, and they started coming in with a guy, and, you know, he cracked funny jokes every now and again. And then one day he wasn't there, and I was like, oh, where's your funny boy today? Oh, tell him I was asking for him, because it's what you do. I was being nice. And then the next time he comes in, he's like, pretty much following me around the shop, asking me out, asking me what I'm doing at the weekend, and I basically had to turn around and tell him I was married because he wouldn't take no for an answer. Like, those situations I can totally understand, but not every guy asking you out is gonna be that creeper, you know? But if you keep demonizing men for making their intentions known, then it is just going to be the creepers left making their intentions known. Lip on. Did I? Yeah, I did. Mascara. I thought I hadn't put on blush for a second there. I totally spaced. I know this Get Ready With Me is like all over the place topic-wise. But let me know what you guys think about men chatting you up in the street. Like, you never know when you're gonna meet the one. Like, tell me how, if you guys are in long-term relationships, tell me how you met your other half. Because you can meet the guy or the girl or whatever anytime, any place. That's why you should always leave your house looking your best. The day I met Nick, I hadn't washed my hair or showered in like 3-4 days. Well, actually it was before we even had a shower, it was bath. So it was even more hassle to try and clean yourself. And I just like straightened my hair to try and dry up the grease because dry shampoo was not a thing. So it's safe to say I was not clean and I smelt a bit and my fashion sense was not on point that day. I was wearing skinny jeans with a skull print top, a white skull print top with a white skull print hoodie, double skulls, just was not cute. Was not cute at all, but evidently he didn't mind too much. Do I want to use this one? I don't know. I'm gonna put down some taupe first. Really feeling taupe. Finally getting used out of my matte lipsticks. Now I'm going to go over it with a bit of nude beige. That kind of works, doesn't it? I think I might need to start wearing lip liner again. Okay, so I'm going to stop there before I put on any more makeup and stop rambling because I think I've talked enough. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye bye.